Here we go again. Mario Kart 9 back in the news when it comes to gaming and what is going on. So we're definitely going to get into that because Mario Kart 9 is an enigma, but we all know Nintendo is working on it. But what is the updates with Mario Kart 9? What could we see? What's happening? We're going to go ahead and break that down in this video. In addition to the Nintendo Switch passing up a major milestone. This could be all time. Nintendo needs to talk about it soon, so we're going to go ahead and get into that. And then also, this RPG that we're going to discuss in this video looks absolutely nuts. Seriously, you guys have to see this RPG. But before we get into any of this, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. So happy weekend to all my peeps out there as well if you're watching this on the weekend, but if it's a different time, happy day to you. But we're going to talk about Mario Kart 9 because in a recent GameIndustry.biz article, Dr. Serkan Toto from Kantan Games, a guy that I've been following for like a decade now. He is somebody that has some sources here and there, doesn't really talk, wouldn't be an insider. He's an analyst with his own type of place that he has business and everything. So it's a little bit different. I wouldn't call this guy an insider or anything like that, but I do respect what he stated. He's gotten things right before in the past. He's had some good insight into games. I think he's a cool dude. So shout outs to Dr. Serkan Toto from Kantan Games. And recently there was an article on, it was Nintendo Life, discussing what Dr. Serkan Toto had to say to GameIndustry.biz. And that's where all of this Mario Kart 9 stuff has happened. Now listen guys, I've been talking about Mario Kart 9 on this channel now for years, and I've been wrong on a number of things when Nintendo was going to announce the game, but I do feel that Mario Kart 9 is absolutely a thing, and it's definitely going to be a Switch game at the very bare minimum, maybe a cross-gen game, maybe a backwards compatible enhanced game with the next Switch. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's get into what Mr. Dr. Serkan Toto had to say here recently in his 2022 predictions slash analysis on the market with GameIndustry.biz. He says Nintendo announces Mario Kart 9 and a new mobile game. I am aware Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling very well on the Nintendo Switch, but Mario Kart 9 is in active development and comes with a new twist, and Nintendo could tease it this year. On mobile, Nintendo has been very silent since Mario Kart Tour's launch in 2019, but I think 2022 is when we see an established IP arriving on smart devices again. So let's discuss this. We got a double dose of Mario Kart here. A little bit of touch on the Mario Kart Tour mobile, which, by the way, that game, it gets like slammed by gamers. But man, like if that game was on console without all the mobile junk and was sped up a little bit, it would be pretty good because there's some great RPG elements. There's some great ideas, costume themes. There's all sorts of cool stuff in Mario Kart Tour. It's just kind of drugged down by some of the other stuff. So could Nintendo with Mario Kart Tour see some ideas travel from that, the good stuff, not the bad stuff, into Mario Kart 9? Is Mario Kart 9 in active development? Of course it is. From what I understand, Mario Kart games always kind of go into development as soon as the most recent Mario Kart game is done. Now, they might not actually be putting everything they got into the development of it, but they look at ideas, they think about what they're going to do. Obviously, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is not a game that took the whole squad to do. It's just a port of the Wii U game with the DLC. They did make some quality of life adjustments. They did add 2 items. They did tweak some things with the online play. Obviously, it needs to be adapted for HD Rumble. There was a number of things that they did, but it's not like you needed the whole Mario Kart squad to kind of join up together, join the forces, and make this type of port on the Nintendo Switch. So they've been developing something, and ARMS was finished, you know, back in 2017, right? That was an early Nintendo Switch game. So they've been working on something. Now, we've heard rumors about it being more of like a Nintendo Kart type of game and it having more themes and all of that. So we'll see if that comes to be true, which many people are kind of saying maybe it's going to be that. And now they say, oh, there's a twist in here with this. Well, there's always a twist with Mario Kart games. Anytime that there's a new Mario Kart game on a system, there's always something that's different in there. The only time that I can think of something that wasn't different was like Mario Kart, the Super Circuit game on the GBA, which was kind of like an evolution of the Super Nintendo game. I didn't really see anything too unique about that. Maybe the wireless play if it had that, but I didn't really like that game and I didn't really play it too much. So yeah, there's that. But they always had like Double Dash, they had the anti-gravity, they had the hang gliders and underwater. You know, they've always had something. There was Mario Kart Wii, had the online play and the bikes. I mean, there's always something that they've done. Mario Kart DS, the snaking, and also the original online play with Mario Kart the first time. So there's always something that they've done to kind of add into the whole mix with Mario Kart with a twist. So yeah, I'm expecting that, but some people are asking for like Double Dash mode. Some people are asking for like Nintendo Kart versus like Diddy Kong. I mean, there's been all sorts of stuff that people have tagged me, and we've discussed ideas on my live stream as well. But I think that Mario Kart Tour, taking some of those RPG elements, taking some of those different things that they do in that game and kind of putting it in the next Mario Kart as like a side thing would be pretty cool. Now, I'm going to give you guys the breakdown in terms of what I think they should do with Mario Kart, just when it comes to like a new feature, something that I'd like to see. I'd love to see an actual story mode, an actual story RPG mode to where I can go in there, pick a character, go through different events like missions and stuff like that, and kind of mix it up with the different characters in the Mario Kart universe and extend it. And I'd love to see rankings after races. Man, it would be so cool if you actually got ranked on how good you race instead of how lucky you are with items and your position. I think that could bring a whole new twist to the Mario Kart franchise, is if you're racing and not only do you get graded based on where you finish, but you also get graded based on, you know, how good you race. Are you drafting? Are you using smart item play? Things like that could really enhance and enrich the experience of Mario Kart and make it more fun, along with new modes and new different things and all of that. So I'm hoping we see some of that in Mario Kart 9. But yes, Mario Kart 9 is a thing. Could we see it announced this year or teased this year? It's a possibility. It could be the one more thing type of game, maybe at the end of the year, at the end of the, like Nintendo Directs that they do, the fall Nintendo Directs. Maybe that's the one more thing type of situation, but we're going to have to wait and see. Nintendo has a packed 2022, so it's going to be a lot of fun this year, going down and breaking down the Nintendo Directs and the E3s and all the different rumors and stuff like that. So I'm excited for this year. I mean, we're eating good, so I'm good. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Mario Kart 9? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here. This is more of a rumor, but it lines up with the tracking that I've been doing on the Nintendo Switch when it comes to sales. And it seems like the Nintendo Switch has potentially outsold the Nintendo Wii worldwide, becoming Nintendo's most successful, when it comes to sales, home console of all time, or anything that they've considered a home console in any type of way. Switch is a hybrid, it's a new era for Nintendo, but at the same time, you also have to kind of put it that because it is a successor to the Wii U. So the Nintendo Switch has outsold lifetime sales of Nintendo Wii, VG Charts is reporting. And once again, VG Charts is not 100% accurate. That's why I'm labeling this as a rumor, but it's lining up with the sales that I'm also tracking as well. So the Nintendo Switch has sold 1.16 million units for the week ending December 25th, 2021 to bring lifetime sales to 101.88 million units. This compares to the Nintendo Wii with the sales of 101.63 million units lifetime. The figure for the Nintendo Switch includes combined sales of the original Switch model, the Switch Lite, and Switch OLED. Nintendo's hybrid console has now become the 6th best-selling video game platform of all time. Next up is the PlayStation at 102.49 million units. Then the PlayStation 4 that has sold an estimated 116.80 million units to date. Then the Game Boy plus the Game Boy Color at 118.69 million units. The Nintendo Switch is just 0.61 million units away from the PlayStation, 14.92 million units away from the PlayStation 4, and 16.81 million units away from the Game Boy. Now, if you break down the sales of the Nintendo Switch, it has sold 34.74 million units in the US, 26.90 million units in Europe, and 22.98 million units in Japan. Breaking down the sales in Europe even further, it has sold 5.14 million units in the UK, 6.68 million units in France, and 5.44 million units in Germany. Shipments for the Nintendo Switch has reached 92.87 million units as of September 30th, 2021, while 681 million Nintendo Switch games have been shipped lifetime. Now, here are the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Switch games according to Nintendo shipment figures as of September 30th, 2021. Number 1, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 38.74 million. Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Party, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Splatoon 2 Ring Fit Adventure. Of course, the Nintendo Switch launched back in March 3rd, 2017, while the Nintendo Wii was launched in North America on November 19, 2006, in Japan on December 2nd, 2006, and in Europe on December 8th, 2006. So weird mixing it up by having some weeks afterwards. That doesn't even make any sense to me, but I guess you stagger it so you can have more stock or allocation. But anyway, let's talk about this because this is a pretty big deal for Nintendo. The fact that they've passed up the Wii, but it makes complete sense. If you've combined your home console and your portable, yes, 100 million was definitely on the table. I've talked about this before where I predicted that this was going to be a thing back in 2017. I said, yeah, it absolutely could sell 100 million units plus because you are combining that. You have the R&D development, right? So you have the portable R&D, which used to be a separate building, separate people working on portable R&D. Then you had the home console R&D, which was separate people, separate stuff on there. Yeah, you had some liaisons between the two, but for the most part, they were separate entities and they were different things. It was completely different. You couldn't have a game that was on the Wii U that was also running on the 3DS, and you couldn't have certain stuff like that, or a 3DS game that was going to be on the Wii U, or a Game Boy game that was going to be on the GameCube or Game Boy Advance. Like, you couldn't do that. And there was some stuff, there was the Game Boy Advance player, that the Super Game Boy, there were some things that bridged the gap, but for the most part, separate systems, separate specs, separate everything. So you're going to have separate sales. I mean, and that's been Nintendo's MO pretty much since day one with the Game Boy and also with the NES. Separate. They were just separate and they did their own thing for the most part. And whatever would do well would do well. What didn't do as well didn't do as well. And usually it was the home consoles for Nintendo ever since about the N64, things started to dip. And of course, Nintendo's portable systems have always flourished, with the 3DS being the least successful out of the main line portables. We're not talking about spin-offs and other things and Virtual Boy and all that, but out of the main line portable Game Boy line or anything that's evolved from the Game Boy or DS line, all of those have been extremely successful. Nothing has sold under 75 million units. Like, the 3DS is like the least selling one at like 75 million units. So I figured when you take that into account and also put in with the fact that you're going to have that home console support. So you take everything that they do portable, right? And then say, okay, you're going to have all that plus the home console stuff, like the Super Smash Brothers and like all the big games that come out, the big 3D Marios and all that. And you don't have to have a separate base for those. Everyone's just going to buy the same thing. Everyone's just going to buy the same thing. And at the bare minimum, 100 million would not be hard to achieve or super hard to achieve as long as Nintendo had the games to come out. And Nintendo always has the games. Even at their worst, which would be like the Wii U, people would say that was their worst, right? It still had a lot of games because there was a lot of good Wii U ports on the Nintendo Switch, or there is a lot of good Wii U ports on the Nintendo Switch. So even the Wii U had dope games to play. Yeah, it was kind of like far in between. It took them too much time and there was issues there and all that. But at the end of the day, you can still look at the Wii U and say, oh yeah, there was some really good games on that platform. There was some really high reviewing games on that platform. There was some good new IPs, like for example, Splatoon. That started on the Wii U. So to me, at the end of the day, I knew that it was going to do this well, especially after that January 2017 presentation where they just showed off a bunch of games for that first year. And it's looking like 2022 is going to be a reenactment of 2017. So it makes sense to me that the Nintendo Switch has had this much success. And to be honest, while the chip shortage is going to slow things down just a bit, it's still not slowing down because of the type of system that it is. It's a hybrid and it's going to have games. As long as Nintendo has games on the system, they're going to keep selling this thing. So I don't see it slowing down. I don't see it fading like the Nintendo Wii. I think Nintendo wants a smooth transition, and the business people that are running Nintendo right now know all about the pitfalls of what they had in the company, because back then when those things were happening and they weren't running the company, they saw all those errors. So they're like, okay, we can't make the same mistake that they made with that when it comes to the system. Now there's some other things that you can talk about when it comes to mistakes and all that that are structural, and there could have been better judgment. But when it comes to the games and the transition and what they're trying to do, they made a clear message that they're going to make sure that they have the titles and they can transition and do what they need to do, as they've already been talking about it a little bit in their investor meetings and all of that. So it makes sense to me. I think that this concept of the Nintendo Switch is a bona fide hit. It is something that you can do over and over, almost like the PlayStation. The PlayStation is a concept of just, hey, we're going to make a overall solid system that has good graphics, that's just a box, and you can just play it with some features here and there. Maybe it's not as as in-depth with Xbox and what you can do, backwards compatibility and stuff like that. But over the course, PlayStation has been able to sell based on its premise. And I think that the Switch can sell based on just its premise and name with the Switch. Like the fact that it's a hybrid system, that's their gimmick going forward. So I think that Nintendo is going to have a ton of success with the next Switch. And of course, you see the success that they're having right now. People are going to buy it based off of brand recognition alone, based off of what it offers. This was that original hybrid system that anybody could afford and be able to play and enjoy with types of games. So to me, it makes sense. And obviously Nintendo struck super gold, billion-dollar gold here with the Nintendo Switch. So what are your thoughts on this, guys, with the rumored numbers so far here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, now this is what I was talking about when it comes to this crazy RPG that you guys have to see. So I talked about it a little bit ago with the Necrom game. There's a new RPG that they have to announce. It's for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and also PC. And it's called Showa American Story. So publisher 2P Games and developer Necrom Games have officially announced action RPG Showa American Story for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC via Steam. Now, the release date was not announced. Now, here's the about this page. As you guys are watching this crazy footage, post-apocalyptic Showa America and a teenage girl revived from the dead. Showa 66. Japan has brought out most of the United States with its strong economic power. A surge of immigration has firmly planted Japanese culture within the American continent. Two cultures are rapidly amalgamated. Although conflicts are inevitable, citizens gradually adapt to a life never imagined as time goes by. However, a mysterious catastrophic incident changes the world drastically. The social order is long gone. An unknown amount of time passes. A teenage girl mysteriously revives from the dead, only to find a brand new wild post-apocalyptic world with zombies, monsters, and human survivors of different backgrounds and beliefs. What happened to me and the whole world? With many questions in her mind and trying to find answers, Choco embarks on an adventurous journey across the United States that will change her forever. And I'm not kidding, guys, that is the description of the game. So let's talk about some of the combat, shall we? Fast-paced, exciting, and strategy-based combat. Second Life is not the only thing given to the girl, but also mysterious and frightening power. Showa American Story features a free-flowing and brutal combat style. Players will fight against hordes of zombies and monsters, moving, attacking, and dodging in countless fast-paced combat situations. Get ready to dive into the ocean of catch-up, whatever the hell that means. I guess blood, with melee weapons, ranged weapons, and some strange weapons. Players are encouraged to choose all kinds of distinguishing weapons that satisfy their combat style and use different attack moves and abilities to fight their way out among different types of zombies, monsters, and bosses. Check this out, guys. Living and becoming stronger in a journey of 80s pop culture. If it can't get any stranger, it even gets more stranger here. So it's more than just combat in Choco's long journey. Showa American Story will take the player back to the 80s, a golden era filled with good old memories, to experience the unique scenery of post-apocalyptic Showa America while exploring stories of people and survivors of different backgrounds. Using a big RV as Choco's new home, players will be able to customize and upgrade it, as well as enhance Choco's status and unlock abilities through various enjoyable living activities. Gameplay with all kinds of resources found during exploration and combat, such as new weapons, costumes, collectibles, experience, and last but not least, unexpected nostalgic mini-games. Live a better life and become stronger, even if it's the end of the world. Oh my goodness. I just the Chinese type of games that they're making for this, man, this is just something that I would have never envisioned, that Japanese culture overtakes and intertwines with America. Then there's a post-apocalyptic and this girl is dead and then she comes back to life and there's all this different type of stuff that's going on. And this trailer is absolutely nuts. And you know what, guys? This is what I need in my life. I've realized at this point in my life, I need games like this to come about and just say, it's so crazy. It's such a weird RPG. It's so different that I'm just excited to play it. And I want to play this. There's no release date. There's nothing that we know about when it's coming. I'm guessing it's going to be a late 2021 game, or when it's done. It looks a little rough around the edges, so they probably have quite a bit of time in terms of polish and stuff that they need to do. And these type of games probably break or have issues and bugs and glitches with these open world games, but they're working on it and it seems cool. They won't show her face, so maybe there's something going on with her face. I'm not really sure what that is, but yeah, this is going to be a very interesting RPG once we get more information on it. I don't know, it could break through and become a Genshin Impact in terms of popularity with fans in the West and everything like that. Nobody would have thought Genshin Impact would be as big as what it was. So you never know what's going to break out or what isn't going to break out from China when it comes to some of these games that they're making. So what do you guys think when it comes to Showa American Story? Is this RPG on your radar at this point? I know it is for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Thank you once again for watching, and we'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.